Hello everyone. In previous video, we have actually discussed, some of the very important parts of a plant and animal cell, like cell membrane, cell wall, chloroplast, nucleus, cytoplasm, vacuoles, etc. Okay. Now, in this particular video, we are going to continue with the same topic, parts of a cell. So the next particular part of a cell is mitochondria. Mitochondria is one of the very important part or one of the very important cell organelle present in all eukaryotic cells. Okay, we have already discussed about prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. So prokaryotes, in them, these membrane bound cell organelles are absent. Okay, these membrane bound cell organelles are present only in the eukaryotic cells, like higher organisms. Okay, like plants, animals, paramecium, amoeba, etc. We have studied about those five kingdom classification system of R.H. Whitaker. Okay, five kingdoms given by R.H. Whitaker. So in that, only kingdom one, that is kingdom Monera, is made up of completely bacteria. They are all prokaryotes. Apart from kingdom Monera, all four kingdoms, that is kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae, and kingdom Animalia, they are all eukaryotes. Okay, so all these eukaryotes, they have membrane bound cell organelles. When we say membrane bound, that means all these cell organelles are actually covered by a membrane. Okay, and the examples are like mitochondria, chloroplast, lysosomes, vacuole, and then we have this endoplasmic reticulums, Golgi apparatus, etc. There is only one cell organelle which is not bound by any membrane, and that is ribosomes. So as this ribosome is not covered by any membrane, it is also present in the prokaryotic cell, okay, in bacteria. Fine. So this mitochondria is also a membrane bound cell organelle, and it is present in all the eukaryotes. Mitochondria is actually known as, as it's written here, powerhouse of a cell. Now, why do we call it as powerhouse of a cell? The name itself reflects that in mitochondria, the process of respiration takes place. Respiration is actually, the energy generating process in the cell. You have already studied in your lower classes that cells, they produce energy by the process of respiration. Okay, now respiration can take place in the presence of oxygen or in the presence of oxygen or in the absence of oxygen. Okay, so when it occurs in the presence of oxygen, it's called aerobic respiration, and when oxygen is absent, it is known as anaerobic respiration. So in the process of aerobic respiration, what happens is glucose molecule combines with oxygen, okay, and then large amount of energy is released along with the production of carbon dioxide and water. Fine. So in the process of aerobic respiration, what happens? Glucose reacts with oxygen molecule and it gives a large amount of energy along with carbon dioxide gas and water vapors. Okay. So this carbon dioxide gas produced in the process of aerobic respiration is actually an excretory product, excretory waste. So it is exhaled through lungs outside into the air. Fine. So mitochondria is known as powerhouse of the cell because in mitochondria, what happens is aerobic respiration takes place. So remember that mitochondria is a site for aerobic respiration in cell. Whenever oxygen is absent and somehow if the cell has to undergo, anaerobic respiration in the absence of oxygen, at that time, that anaerobic respiration occurs in the cytoplasm of the cell. Okay, mitochondria is only a site for aerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration takes place in the cytoplasm of the cell. Fine. Okay, before we go further, just have a look at this picture of mitochondria. So you should be able to actually, identify the diagrams of mitochondria when it is asked in IGCSE papers. So remember, this mitochondria is covered with a double layer membrane. Okay, you can see here, outer membrane. Okay, outer membrane, it's written here, and then we have inner membrane. So two layer membranes. But remember that this outer membrane is continuous and without any folds and all. But inner membrane is actually is having many folds. These folds you can see. Look at the arrow mark here. Okay, so these folds of the inner membrane present in mitochondria is actually known as cristae. So what these folds are called, it's written here, cristae. Okay, and the space which is enclosed within the inner membrane or within the cristae is known as matrix. It is filled with the fluid and it is called matrix. Now, the space between outer membrane and inner membrane is known as intermembrane space. Okay, mitochondria is a membrane-bound cell organelle, and hence it has its own DNA and ribosomes. Okay, so they produces their own enzymes, like they can with the help of these ribosomes and DNA, mitochondria can synthesize its own protein. Fine. So this is the very basic structure of mitochondria. The inner membrane of mitochondria is actually having these folds or cristae because it increases surface area, which helps in faster process of aerobic respiration. It increases the speed of aerobic respiration. Okay, because aerobic respiration produces large amount of energy, and this energy is actually used by cells in various life processes or various metabolic reactions. Okay. Now, one important thing you have to understand, in a body, there are different cells, okay, and there are certain cells in the body which are in a need of, production of maximum amount or very large amount of energy, okay, in throughout the day. So those cells which actually produces large amount of energy in short time or short interval of time, those cells, they have, large amount of mitochondria in them. For example, muscle cells. Now throughout, first cell is muscle cell. Okay. Now throughout the day, you know that you walk a lot. Okay. You do eat a lot. Okay. You do any kind of exercise or anything. Fine. So your muscles are always in working condition. Even right now when I'm teaching a session, I'm speaking, so the muscles in my cheeks are in working condition. Okay. If I'm like, lifting my hands like this, so muscles in my arms are in working condition. When we eat any food, okay, the food passes through alimentary canal. So the muscles of alimentary canal, they are in working condition. Okay. So all these muscles for working, they require continuous supply of energy. Okay. So these muscle cells, they always have large number of mitochondria in them. Okay. They're tightly packed with, mitochondria. Then we have liver cells, because liver cells, they perform a very important function of assimilation of food. Okay. So they have large amount of mitochondria. Sperm cells, now you know that once the sperm cells are like, delivered in the vagina of a female, the sperm cells has to pass through the entire uterus and reach till fallopian tube. Okay. You have studied this in your lower grades, grade 7. Okay. So the sperm cell has to cross entire uterus and reach till the fallopian tube. So the sperm cells, they have to swim very fast. Okay. So in order to swim very fast, they require energy. Now again, the tail of the sperm, it's having large amount of mitochondria in them. Then we have these nerve cells or neurons. Okay. You know that these nerve cells, they helps in conduction of electrical impulses, right? They helps in, like, in a simple language, they helps in transfer of a message from one part of a body to another part, right? So this conduction of impulses by nerve cells or neurons is again possible because these nerve cells is also having large number of mitochondria in them. So as per exam point of view, this particular point you have to remember that certain cells in the body, they have a large number of mitochondria because they are in a need of producing more amount of energy compared to the other cells. Okay. Now the next image actually shows, the mitochondria under electron microscope. So the left side image is a part of a liver cell seen under electron microscope, and the magnification is like, 20,000 times. So if you see here, this is a nucleus. Okay, in center they have given nucleus. It is covered with a nucleolus. This gray color part you can see right here, the thread-like structure, thin thread-like structure. This is entire chromatin material. That means DNA, the genetic material. This dark color structure is nucleolus. Okay. But right now, actually, our focus is on mitochondria. So I'll just show you that. Why the purpose of showing this image to you is that, you should be able to identify mitochondria if given under electron microscope. If the picture of electron microscope is given in your exam, so you should be able to identify which one is mitochondria. So this, long oval shaped structure you can see here, this one, and this one. Okay, then we have here also this one, this one. So this long oval shaped structure with some inner folds you can check, see here, some amount of cristae is visible. Not very clearly, but you can make out that, the folds of membranes easily. So these cristae, okay, so long oval structure with the presence of cristae inside, these are mitochondria. So you should be able to identify, okay, in exam if such type of picture is given. The right side, they have given you a close-up of a mitochondrion. Mitochondrion is actually singular and mitochondria is plural. So this image is, magnified by 30,000 times. So if we look here in this one, this is a mitochondria, okay, long oval shaped, and inside you can see the folds of inner membrane, and these folds are cristae. Fine. So the folds of inner membrane are given cristae. So you should be able to identify mitochondria in the picture of electron microscope. Okay. So just remember that mitochondria is present in large amount in certain cells of a body. Okay, remember the basic structure of mitochondria, and then remember that mitochondria is known as powerhouse of a cell, because in mitochondria aerobic respiration takes place. Okay, and in the process of aerobic respiration, what happens? Glucose combines with oxygen in order to give a large amount of energy, along with the production of carbon dioxide gas and water molecules. Okay, next, very important organelle which is present in all living organisms present on this earth, including prokaryotes as well as eukaryotes. All 5 kingdoms given by R.H. Whitaker, all the members of 5 kingdoms, they possess ribosomes, because ribosomes actually helps in the production of the synthesis of proteins. Okay, so hence they are also known as protein factories of a cell. And as you know that all living organisms, they require protein, so that's the reason ribosomes are naturally present in all the living organisms. Okay, now how these ribosomes are actually present in the cell? These ribosomes are actually, they are scattered freely in the cytoplasm, or some of the ribosomes are also present on the membranes of endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, about endoplasmic reticulum we'll discuss little later. So in this picture you can see here, this is the membrane of endoplasmic reticulum, and this orange dot-like structures, okay, small orange color dot-like structures, they are all ribosomes. So remember that these ribosomes are always like, are always like, very tiny dots, and they are much smaller compared to other cell organelles like mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulums, chloroplast, etc. Okay, so these ribosomes are present as a tiny dot-like structure. You can find them on endoplasmic reticulum, rough endoplasmic reticulum, or scattered freely in the cytoplasm. And this ribosome is actually, made up of 2 subunits, large subunit and small subunit. Okay, these subunits are actually, present separately in the cytoplasm. So whenever a ribosome has to perform the process of protein synthesis, okay, whenever a ribosome has to synthesize a protein, only at that particular time these 2 subunits come together with each other. Now the question is how these ribosomes, they prepare or they synthesize proteins. So what happens is the genetic material present in our nucleus, in the nucleus of a cell, that genetic material, you're already aware that it has, many DNA or DNA based sequences. Okay, it has many base sequences on it. Okay, nitrogenous base sequences. So ribosome, through ribosome, this particular genetic material passes through. Okay, and ribosomes actually reads the information given on the genetic material and try to assemble all the amino acids in a particular sequence. Now the sequence is always decided by the genetic material, okay, that which particular amino acid has to be, linked or added in a chain first, that is actually decided by the genetic material. Okay, so ribosomes actually, they do nothing but they just assemble amino acids by receiving information or under the guidance of, you can say in simple terms, under the guidance of genetic material DNA. Okay, and this DNA is always present inside the nucleus. So in this particular image which is given on the right side, you can see here in the right side, it is a picture of electron microscope. Okay, this is a picture of rough endoplasmic reticulum taken under electron microscope. So these tiny dots, black colored dots, are all ribosomes. They are much smaller, so more than this, more clear picture than this is very difficult to get. So these tiny dots are ribosomes. Next image, you can check it out here. It's the image of a particular cell, liver cell again. This is actually nucleus, and surrounding nucleus you can see this flattened sacs of membrane. Okay, and on this membrane you can make out some tiny black colored dots. Okay, it's clearly visible here, tiny black colored dots. So all these tiny black colored dots here, okay, present on these membrane sacs, these dots are ribosomes. Fine. So ribosomes, okay, and as ribosomes are present on these endoplasmic reticulum, hence it is known as rough endoplasmic reticulum. Fine. So ribosomes are known as protein factories of the cell. They help in synthesis of protein. Actually, they help in synthesis of amino acid chains, and these amino acids are linked in a particular sequence, and the information is given for the assembling of this amino acid in a particular sequence by nucleus, or by genetic material present inside the nucleus. Okay. Next organelle is endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum is actually a network of continuous membrane system which forms a series of flattened sacs in the cytoplasm. There are two types of endoplasmic reticulum: rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum is called such because on them there is a presence of ribosomes. So the presence of ribosomes on them makes it rough in appearance. Okay, so hence it is known as rough endoplasmic reticulum. So in rough endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes are present. In smooth endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes are absent. Okay, then rough endoplasmic reticulum helps in protein modification, packaging, and quality control. Okay, and it also synthesizes secretory proteins. Actually, what happens is, on rough endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes are present. Now, for example, this hand is a ribosome and this is endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so this ribosome, what it will do, it will help in the synthesis of amino acid chains. Okay, it will prepare few amino acid chains, and after making amino acid chain, it will just give it to the endoplasmic reticulum. So once this amino acid chain is prepared, okay, the chains go to the to endoplasmic reticulum, rough endoplasmic reticulum, and there it undergoes a lot of processing. Okay, and hence the protein undergoes modification, and any kind of it's written here quality control. So if there is any kind of discrepancy or any kind of problem in the sequencing of the amino acid, that is controlled or checked or changed by rough endoplasmic reticulum again. Okay, and finally comes the packaging. So once this protein is completely prepared or made properly, it undergoes packaging. Packaging means it is covered by a thin layer of lipid bilayer. Okay, it is covered by a thin membrane. Fine. And this endoplasmic reticulum, you have to remember, actually it synthesizes the secretory proteins. Now, what is the meaning of secretory proteins? The proteins which are supposed to be after preparation, these proteins are released into the bloodstream, and this blood takes these proteins to the different cells where it is required. Okay, so secretory proteins are actually synthesized by rough endoplasmic reticulum. For example, all the digestive enzymes in a body, they are the example of secretory proteins. Okay, now just imagine, for example, pancreas in a body, it produces proteins which are required for digestion of proteins like trypsin, chymotrypsin, etc. Okay, so these are protein digesting enzymes. Now these enzymes are actually produced by the alpha and produced by the beta cells of pancreas, and then these enzymes, once prepared by the cells of pancreas, it is released into the small intestine, the second part of small intestine, which is known as duodenum. Okay, fine. So rough endoplasmic reticulum, it helps in protein modification, packaging, and quality control, and by them the secretory proteins are synthesized. Next is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. In smooth endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes are absent, and they help in synthesis of lipids and in the process of detoxification in liver. Now you know that liver plays a very important role in assimilation of food, and it also helps in detoxification process in the body. Okay, so smooth endoplasmic reticulum also helps in detoxification of the liver. Next slide shows you the image of endoplasmic reticulum. Left side you can see just a schematic diagram. This is nucleus, we have nucleolus and genetic material. Now attached to this nucleus is, you know, this long flattened sacs of a membrane which is known as endoplasmic reticulum, and on this endoplasmic reticulum you can see these red colored dots. They are actually ribosomes. So hence, as ribosomes are present, they are known as rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, and here you can see the same endoplasmic reticulum. Here ribosomes are absent, hence it is known as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Right side is again the image from the previous slides. Okay, you can see here the flattened disc. Okay, this is endoplasmic reticulum, and the top of it tiny dot-like structure, which is ribosomes. So you should be actually, you know, able to identify endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, ribosomes, chloroplast, nucleus, cell membrane, cell wall, vacuole. All these structures you should be able to identify in the pictures under electron microscope. Okay, or the normal diagram which is given in your IGCSE papers. Okay, so the main purpose of showing you the images is sometimes in, you know, IGCSE question papers, the direct images of cells are given. Sometimes, you know, the real image, or sometimes it is just the diagram. Okay, so you should be able to identify these parts and label it on the diagram. Fine. The last part is vesicles. Okay, you have to study only these parts of these structures of a cell. Okay, now these vesicles, first you have to remember that they are always covered by, or they are always enclosed by a lipid bilayer. Okay, the vesicles are always covered by lipid bilayer, and they enclose a liquid. Okay, these vesicles, they enclose a liquid or cytoplasm in them. Now these vesicles are actually produced during exocytosis or endocytosis. Now the meaning of word endo is like, you know, inside, and exo means outside. So endocytosis means inside the cell, and exocytosis means outside the cell. This is the normal cell membrane nucleus. Now, for example, you know, you can say in lower organisms like amoeba, paramecium and all, when they try to eat any food, okay, so what happens is they engulf the food, and after engulfing the food is completely covered by a particular lipid bilayer, okay, or a thin membrane. So hence that food vacuole is an example of vesicle. Okay, if the cell has to, like, you know, excrete any kind of waste product, or if the cell has to, you know, excrete any kind of toxic product prepared inside the cell, synthesized inside the cell, so again those toxic product, they completely get, you know, accumulated and covered by a thin membrane, and hence and later on what cell will do, cell will just, you know, like transport it outside the cell. So that's known as exocytosis. So in the process of secretion, that is exocytosis, uptake, endocytosis, and transport of materials within the plasma membrane. Okay, so transport of material within the plasma membrane, what helps is vesicles. Even, you know, I have told you in the previous slides that endoplasmic reticulum, rough endoplasmic reticulum, helps in the synthesis of secretory proteins. So once endoplasmic reticulum completely, you know, modifies, packages, and quality control of the protein, what happens is this protein goes to Golgi apparatus, another like, you know, another same disc like flattened disc, membrane disc like structure, okay, present, another organelle present in the cells. Now this protein passes through, you know, different different disc of the Golgi apparatus, and finally it comes out in the packaged form, in the packed form, and this protein molecules is also covered by the lipid bilayer. Hence again that is a vesicle, secretory vesicle. Okay, and then that particular vesicle fuses with the plasma membrane and releases the protein outside the body. Okay, either in the tissue fluid or directly into the bloodstream. Fine. So hence vesicles are also very important cell organelles present in the body. So in this particular video, we will cover only these parts. Okay. In next video onwards, we are going to study about different levels of organization in the human body and some examples of the plant. Okay. Take care till then. Bye bye.